the MCU has
Mhm.
this habit of sort of introducing plot threads and then
Yeah.
forgetting about them for
Right.
years on end.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
like that there were some kind of closed loops on this. I like that we closed loops from like the Incredible Hulk movie with Edward
Yeah.
Norton. And again, this action sequence in the Indian Ocean, we're coming back to the fact that a giant robot looking
Yeah.
god man
Yeah.
emerged out of the
Yeah.
Earth's core at the end of the Eternals, and
Yeah.
no one has talked about that until now. I do find my little comic book nerd boy finds it fun that they're mining adamantium out of
Of
these
the eternal, yeah,
yeah, of the
being or whatever.
engineers or whatever they're called, or
Yeah.
yeah.
It makes me wonder though, like, okay, so it's full of adamantium, like that's great. How does that, I mean, because I know the X-Men are gonna be the ones, they're like the big new thing,
Mhm.
right? They're gonna be the big new one. So like how does that, just playing in obviously with the lore of all the X-Men, like Wolverine, how is, I'm wondering how that's going to work. Are they gonna kind of cop out and be like, oh no, adamantium was here all along, but only this one group was able to harvest it, kind of like vibranium, like, and I don't know if that's really the history of vibranium, but that's not the history of adamantium. So I don't know. It'll be interesting.
Right.
I'm not saying it's bad. It is nice to, like, they keep giving all these hints towards the X-Men, and I think it is fun to introduce adamantium and what it is, but it'll just be interesting to see how they contextualize that for the entirety of the MCU.
Obviously, the instant questions that kind of come up is like, okay, cool. So you're building toward a world where someone's going to use the substance that's mined out of these things, and they're obviously going to put it in uh, a mutant's skeleton, and he's going to be
Mhm.
Wolverine.
Yeah.
But that means that there are mutants in this MCU main timeline that we're currently watching this movie in. When are we going to start talking about and acknowledging that?
Yeah.
When, because I think we got to already be at the point where Professor Xavier has a school for
Yeah.
gifted kid. Like if we've got anime, or are the mutants going to come through a portal from a multiverse already fully
Yeah.
formed, and Logan's going to show up without the adamantium? I don't know. Like,
Yeah. I don't know.
these are all questions I suppose they can answer going forward, but it is a thing where like I thought, ooh, that's fun, but then immediately I went, okay, but how does that work? Like
Yeah.
what, you know?
Yeah, exactly.